my nickname is Dims. I work for AWS, and yeah, it's really good to see you all here. Nice to meet you.
And again, I'm Karena at Red Hat.
I'm Jeremy Rickard. I'm from Microsoft and from the Kubernetes project.
Hi, I'm Alex Kirkup, and I'm from Akamai.
Hi, I'm Ricardo Aravina, and I'm from Snowflake.
Hello, everyone. My name is Katie Gamanchi, and I work for Apple.
Hello, I'm Fasila. I work for Ericsson.
Ricardo from CERN.
Hi, good morning. My name is Lin Sang. I work for Solo.io. I'm also an Istio maintainer.
Hi, I'm Kevin Wang. I worked on multiple projects, and I work for Huawei.
Hi, Kevin Clues from NVIDIA.
All right, thank you. Okay, so we have staggered terms. So we have our 2025 and our newly elected, and then 2024. And really quickly want to point out, new for this year is the Shadow program. So we have 2 Shadow TOC members. So they participate in discussions and they shadow the TOC work. So if anybody ever has to step down for any reason or step away, because we know that happens, right? We have, I'm going to step forward. So we have Ricardo and Kevin. And so if any of you are interested in the TOC Shadow program, it lasts a year, and next year we'll do another election. If you want to put yourself forward, please come ask anybody about it. Also, we want to introduce the projects team. Okay, guys, stand up, please. Thank you. This is the support, right? Everybody knows George, Bob. We have Daniel, Rob, Jiffy. And so also, if you want to go yell at them, they will be out in the foyer too. Thank you, guys. And we couldn't do this without them. And also, we have the whole backing of the events team and the rest of the CNCF staff and the LF staff. And it's pretty amazing. We have a lot of support. Okay, so, Dems.
Hi. So, my poor eyes. I can't see. Okay, so what is the TOC and what are we trying to do here, right? Like, let's start from the top down, right? We all know that Linux Foundation is a foundation for other foundations. CNCF is one of the first ones, and the CNCF has a charter. The CNCF, in the charter, has a governing board and the TOC, right? Like, so we are right there in the inception documents for the CNCF. The governing board takes care of the legal and the finance and related stuff, and they don't take any technical decisions for any of the projects. And that is left to the TOC itself, right? So the one thing that you might have heard is like, hey, the governing board is based on sponsorships, but the TOC is based on elections, right? There are seats for different, areas of CNCF, and members into the TOC are elected. So it's not like a pay for play. It's purely based on the election process. So what do we get to do here? We get to define and maintain the technical vision. We get to approve new projects coming in. Like there is always new ideas in the community, and we welcome new projects into the sandbox, sometimes into the incubation process itself, incubation level itself, and then we try to graduate the projects from one level to another level and trying to make sure that they are following the best practices. So we try to do things very transparently. We try to implement our best practices, policies, and procedures to help everyone, including the end users. So we help maintain the code of conduct. We have written down principles. And I don't know how many of you have actually went around looking for it, but it is there. So we also have a structure underneath the TOC, which currently includes tags and working groups. And today you'll be hearing more about like what we are wanting to do with them to reinvigorate, how we are working in the community. So the other important thing is like, what are the benefits to the projects? Why do they want to join CNCF? And like, what do they get out of CNCF, right? Why are you all here, right? Like, so that is important to us as well. And we help coordinate with the CNCF staff and the foundation on like, what are the services that are available to you and how you can like maximize the productivity of your own project teams as well. Sometimes you might hear that, hey, this is hard to work with, the policies, procedures, or like the checklists and things like that. But please remember that behind all that stuff is, it's just representing the things that we've learned over time that works. And, we are always happy to have an open discussion with you to figure out, what works for you best. But also we want to make sure that we are incorporating the things that we've done over the years, what we've learned over the years, and also to prevent bias based on like who exactly from the TOC is, running your due diligence process, and etc. So as Natalie mentioned before, this used to be Kubernetes Maintainer Summit, and we know for a fact, and Kevin mentioned that we have all worked on multiple projects, and Lynn mentioned too, like I'm an Istio maintainer, Phil and I are like containerd maintainers. So we are all doing WT here. Like Mike Bro is doing both Kubernetes and containerd. So we are all doing multiple projects. So why not open up to everybody? So that is why we are here. I hope this helps you build your networks and work with each other more tightly than before. And since the inception was Kubernetes, I would like to invite Jeremy to talk a little bit about from the Kubernetes steering committee perspective. Thank you.
Thanks, Dims. All right, so who here knows how their project is governed? That's a pretty good show of hands. So Dim's talked about what the TOC does and what services it's providing, what it really brings to projects. Individual governance for projects is going to be left up to those individual projects. So in the Kubernetes case, it's the steering committee. Other projects have their own structures, their own, perhaps a committee. That's kind of loud. And those committees are really driving the day-to-day governance of those projects. So in the Kubernetes case, the steering committee does the non-technical decision-making. They help determine what special interest groups or SIGs are going to be chartered, what working groups are stood up, and they make those sort of decisions. So they're providing that kind of day-to-day guidance and the actual driving of the project. They also interface with the TOC when there are situations that arise that might need to have collaboration between the two, or when there are requests that need to be made to help resolve some of those things. And today, I think you'll see there's a steering committee, Ask the Experts is the name now, as well as a TOC, Ask the Experts. Take advantage of those things if you have time today. Bring your questions. You'll get answers from them. Make them as spicy as possible, maybe. It's a good time. All right, what's next?
Okay, we're going to do a quick survey. Anybody that's a maintainer, could you stand up? Do you maintain a project? Okay, this is getting, yeah, right? Thank you. All right, so stay standing if you are a maintainer on 2 projects. I know, right? Thank you. Seriously. All right, stay standing if you're a maintainer on 3 projects. We're going to see who doesn't sleep. I know, right? Thank you. All right, what about 4 projects? Mike. And Andy sat down, what? All right, 5 projects? I think both of you win. Always say yes.
Sasha, where are you?
I know, right? Sasha, I think he's going to keep going, like 6, 7. Where do we stop? All right, I think Sasha wins then. Okay, so over this next year, we're doing a whole reset. One of the biggest problems that we're seeing for projects moving levels is that they're not ready. Collectively, everybody has different experiences, different contexts, different day jobs, right? So collectively, how do we scale? How do we gather all this knowledge, all these best practices? So next year in Amsterdam, we'll do a retro. We'll see how this year goes, right? But that's what we'll be looking at. So we'll be more strict on applications that come in. We'll also talk to projects that maybe have been staying at incubation for 4 or 5 years. And why aren't you moving? So things like that. So we'll be reaching out and we'll be talking to you, forewarned. We'll also be looking at standardization, consistency, right? We need to make sure we're consistent with and transparent. So we do strive for transparency and making sure it's unbiased. And hopefully we can get you through and through maturity even faster, right? Because that, honestly, that helps all of our day jobs too, right? So to that end, I think this is you, Alex.
So Dim's did a really, really good job about saying what the TOC does. We're just going to highlight a few other things that we do on our day-to-day with regards to the technical aspects of the projects. So we talked about some of the vision, but we also provide guidance and support to the projects as we move through the levels, especially as what Karina just mentioned. That's going to be one of our priorities this year. There's also a lot of working groups and tags focused on the advice and contributor strategy, the health of the projects, and dealing with some of the other governance issues that might come up. We often have to also behind the scenes and in problematic cases work through some of the technical and intellectual property challenges, and this might be because of license changes or challenges with dependencies of projects, or perhaps issues with upstream issues, and this requires some help and it requires coordination. And talking about coordination, of course, another big thing that we help with is coordinating different projects that might have that might be working with other dependencies and other projects, but also with the tags, the working groups, and also the end user tab, which provides input into, which provides useful input into how the roadmaps for the projects should look like. There we go.
Kevin. No, yes.
Because I think we covered the same thing, but one point that I would like to mention is that we try to be as declarative as possible within our criteria for graduation and incubation. And this, historically, we had a lot of circumstances, I would say. I think we didn't have as many projects, we didn't have as many guidelines, and we had to grow our ecosystem as such, our criteria accordingly. And one of the things that we've done in the past years is to be as declarative as possible. So we have implemented that change last year, and we already have a lot of examples of projects who actually underwent this particular process as well. So if you have any kind of, if you'd like to learn, or if you'd like to see successful examples of incubation, graduation, and even sandbox, we have all of these issues that it's public, they're publicly available as well, all discussion is publicly available as well. We don't have those back channels anymore, we don't have those poking, which usually happen within the TOC quite a lot. Everything is within the issue or the PR. So another thing I would like to encourage you is look at those issues. These are very good examples. It's pretty much like a catalog of successful examples of how we actually apply these criteria. So I definitely encourage you to check those out as well. And if you have any kind of suggestions or feedback, or if you feel like we are not as declarative as possible or something is not clear, open an issue and we're going to address it accordingly.
All right. So we also have seen met some of the project maintainers looking for help. So I just give a few tips about preparing the process for faster going through. First of all, I think understanding and meet the criteria is the most important thing. Actually, we started to use the new template last year, and also as for now, we have already made a lot of good examples. So I really recommend every project maintainer, if you are preparing to apply for incubation or graduation, take a look at those examples, and also make sure you understand the criteria, because actually, there are like different requirements between incubating and graduating project. And also, another good thing to do is actually do a self-review among your project team colleagues, because that's very important, and especially if you found anything, any requirement that is not yet met, you can track your process of updating and fixing. And I think transparency is always very important for an open project, right? And also, during the application, the review process, TOC members are more likely functioning as reviewers. So, but the tech members are really to help the project teams. So I also recommend you to reach out tech members frequently to get feedbacks and also the recommendations for your project to meet to the next level. And also, the last thing is about timing. We used to hear some of the projects asking why these applications takes a very long time. I would like to highlight that actually we have improved a lot with more explicit checklist, but please understand that the different projects, they have different situation, and also TOC is not a full-time body, so we still have a lot of other things to do. And the good to do is that if you found any question, just reach out to any one of us, ask questions. And also be aware of the KubeCon freeze, because it starts 4 weeks before KubeCon and ends 2 weeks after the KubeCon. So if you are preparing any kind of announcement for the due diligence, please make sure you are aware of the freeze. Thanks. Oh, who's the next?
All right. So yeah, I'll build on what James, Kevin, and all the others have been talking about, which is in the TOC we have the technical advisory groups that focus on specific areas of interest. Actually, the current structure of the tags was established several years ago, and we realized from interacting with the community, but also in discussions internally, that things have changed. So we thought it was a good time to look into restructuring the tags and the tags we currently have. We went a little bit further and we did an analysis of things that are in the tags that are not necessarily in the scope of the tags, and that could be moved elsewhere. So the TOC has presented a couple of weeks ago. We had a session dedicated in the TOC to focus on what we call tag reboot. And we explained new things that will come, sub-projects, initiatives. There will be some sessions about this also today. There will be a dedicated session about the tag reboot. The reasoning for this idea of looking into the tags again is because we realized several of the tags had the current leadership not being so available or burning out a bit. So it was an idea to kind of restructure and give room for new people also to start contributing. There's other things that we can make of this opportunity, and we had hands raised before. So if you're a maintainer of a project, raise your hand if you've been to a tag to present your own project. And raise your hand or keep your hand raised if you've participated in meetings where your project was not being discussed. Okay, still some, but the idea is to use the tags also to have more discussion, to hire and extend the amount of domain experts we have with a bit more focused, but to have more discussion and to try to build on that, to expand on the opportunities we have from the tags. So there will be a full session at 10:15. The main goal for the day in this initiative of tag reboots is also to see where the gaps are and where we need people. So if you are interested in becoming more active and participate in the technical advisory groups more actively, do come forward, participate in the session, but also reach out to any of us, and we'll make sure that we'll follow this up. So there will be a lot more discussion coming in just half an hour.
Thanks, Ricardo. Wanted to also highlight that we'll be having elections for the new tags just after KubeCon. So if you're interested in a leadership position, first we're going to go through and elect chairs, and then technical leads. So keep an eye on that. Look TOC repo, as well as the mailing list, or hashtag TOC in the CNCF Slack.
All right, I think folks already said everything I was going to say. So I'm going to actually ask you guys some surveys. So who is actually traveling here on jet lag and now it's their sleep time? Raise your hand. All right, shout out to you being here. Thank you so much. All right, the next question I have is, who is a project maintainer for sandbox projects? All right, many of you, excellent. Who is a project maintainer for incubation projects? Awesome. And who is project maintainer for graduate projects? Wow, I guess it's about a third for all the levels. So I have a tip for in case you need to apply for sandbox projects in the future, which, by the way, I just recently took a project through Sandbox. The reason is that we, as a TOC member, actually constantly get people pinged us that, hey, can you actually be our TOC sponsor for our Sandbox project? The truth is, the Sandbox projects review happens so fast right now. I think our queue is single-digit number. And you no longer need a TOC sponsor for your Sandbox project. So all you need to just fill out the template and put your project forward. So no need to DM us and beg somebody to be your sponsor. So I really like that change as I took my project through the Sandbox phase. The second thing I want to mention, I think Karena and also Ricardo just mentioned, there are two TOC-related meetings this morning. So one is about the tag reboot. The second one is Ask Us Anything. So specifically for the tag reboot, I want to kind of share my journey become a TOC member. I was actually a co-chair for Tech Network because my work in the Tech Network, I got recognized by Emily Fox as our prior TOC chair. So I got nominated as a TOC member. So if becoming TOC is interesting, it's great for, grow up your visibility in CNCF. I highly recommend you consider joining us on the tag reboot session and think about put yourself forward as a co-chair for the tax. It can be, put you on the path for a TOC member. With that, I'm going to pass the mic to Karena.
Thanks. And really, I think it's time to get coffee. So if you want to join us, room 17 is the tag reboot workshop. We're actually going to generate ideas, how we can collaborate, lots of interoperability, things like that. And we'll actually have a contest, and we actually have prizes. So just call out to that. But every other session is also equally good. So with that, all right, let's go get coffee, and then we'll see you all after the break. All right.